Russ, come in. Russell, there is something moving in front of me. I can only describe it like a black silhouette walking past.
In the Pacific Northwest's dense forests, Maria Mayer embarks on a quest to find Bigfoot, a mysterious creature that has been around for generations. With only her thermal camera, she sets out into the dark forest, surrounded by a sense of suspense and uncertainty. The Expedition Bigfoot team, equipped with thermal cameras, enters the forest with caution, surrounded by a dense layer of fallen leaves. A strange heat signature is detected by one of the cameras, and they watch it move through the trees at an amazing pace. The gang froze, and it appears as though they have finally spotted the mysterious beast, but then it disappears back into the darkness. They feel like they are being watched, as if invisible eyes are silently observing everything they do. The experience feels unexplainable and goes against both their expectations and rationality. They continue, attempting to calm the growing tension. Later, something much odd appears, with trunks pointing skyward amid common trees, but their roots are strangely upside down, grabbing at the air. This formation is often associated with strange encounters, as nature itself has twisted into an unnatural shape to signal something beyond human understanding. The atmosphere is filled with an ethereal weight, and the forest feels heavier. The trees seem to have been placed with purpose, as if they were conveying a message from an unknown and intelligent entity. They sensed the presence of forces they had only just started to comprehend, forces that hid in North America's old forests, protecting mysteries that had long escaped civilization. Maria and her team continue their journey, led by traces and weak thermal indications along the riverbed. They believe they will find answers in the darkness surrounding them, and Maria believes she is about to make a revelation that would alter everything she had ever known. One late afternoon, Maria's team discovers two enormous nests, carefully built and hidden under dense trees. These nests were too big for birds and too well organized for bears, but they appeared to have a purpose and intelligence that suggested something greater. The nests were lined with thick, wiry hairs, proof that seemed almost too good to be true. As they gather samples in the pouring rain, Maria's heart races, wondering if they had discovered evidence of a creature torn between myth and truth. The icy, primitive cries sent a shudder down Maria's spine, and none of the male forest workers could identify the source of the screams, but they all swore they sounded like a woman's voice. What if the tales were real? What if something mysterious and old had escaped man for centuries? Prince of Wales Island, a 60,000-acre expanse of untamed terrain, was the destination of their hunt. The wilderness seemed to engulf the mission, with hunters whispering about eyes blazing from the treetops and local legends about creatures walking like men, covered in hair. To record the nighttime noises and examine every leaf rustle and far-off howl, the team set up cameras and scanned the woods day and night. Local legends described violent creatures that waited in the island's shadowy corners, possibly old guardians defending the forest from trespassers. The team used an industrial-grade drone to help with their search, which buzzed above the treetops and examined the deep jungle. One evening, a terrifying discovery revealed the secrets of the forest. A heat signature, a form moving soundlessly through the brush just out of sight, was captured by their thermal imaging equipment. Despite its small size, it was huge, upright, and moved with an unnerving ease. Another discovery the following day was a piece of skin stuck to a sharp branch, nearly fossilized. It seemed to originate from something hidden for millennia, or just another woodland relic. Every new finding was like descending a dark, twisting staircase into the unknown. Maria sensed the jungle was alive, with plants and animals, as well as an unseen presence in the shadows between the trees. She became more acutely aware of forces that were much ancient than humans. Each clue, nests, screams, and heat signatures added another piece to a complex puzzle. They created a partial image, directing the group forward, step by step, as though the forest itself was pointing them in the direction of an exciting and terrible discovery. Maria was alone, encircled by tall trees, and the silence seemed to enclose her from every direction. Her thermal camera, whose screen flickered to life with a spooky glow, was her only companion.
Russ, come in. Russell, there is something moving in front of me. I can only describe it like a black silhouette walking past.
Covered in mystery and the unknown, they were closer than she had thought. Ronnie, another expedition member, had wandered around a neighboring lake to broaden their search area. With thermal cameras in hand, The team divided up in an effort to track down the creatures they believed were hiding deep within the jungle. Strange sounds, twigs breaking, and faint murmurs of movement filled the night air as they went farther. Ronnie and Maria found themselves confronted by mysterious forms that floated like specters among the old trees. Just as Ronnie was telling Maria to back out, one of the 4 characters on the screen raised what appeared to be an arm, turning her screen black in that instant. The Expedition Bigfoot team had planned to scout the lake's northern and southern margins, with their leader Russell flying a drone to survey the area. However, nothing could prepare them for the entity that lingered in the shadow. The huge trees blotted up even the little moonlight, making the gloomy woodland impenetrable in its darkness. Maria and Ronnie encountered difficulties across the lake, with fallen branches and thick underbrush preventing their progress. Both maintained continual radio contact since they were aware of the risks surrounding them and knew that one mistake could put them in actual danger. An intentional, harsh, and getting louder sound was heard, and Maria froze, searching the darkness for its source with her eyes. She whispered to Ronnie that she wasn't alone and that something was there, hidden, unseen, but definitely present. Her heart pounded with a mixture of fear and exhilaration as she fumbled for her radio. With a mix of amazement and terror, she radioed Ronnie to describe the movement of the shadow. In the process of looking about him, Ronnie became aware that the lakefront was excessively large and that she had an excessive number of blind spots. He was successful in convincing her to go, but Maria gave him a nod and then slowly retreated into the more densely wooded region. It seemed as though there was something in the distance that was aware of their approach, and she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. There was a peculiar calm in the trees as Ronnie came closer to the lake. The only sounds that disturbed the silence were the crunch of his footsteps and the small rustle of his garments. No one else was there. Maria's thermal camera came to life all of a sudden, and on the screen, she saw a massive heat signature that was significantly larger than anything she had possibly seen before. However, it was not just one. Numerous heat sources, which were only 100 yards away, moved silently through the trees. It was over the radio that she shared her discoveries, and her delight was mixed with apprehension.
Ross, there are multiple huge heat signatures directly across from me. They're walking across the forest, and it almost looks like they're poking their heads around the tree.
It's possible that it was a whole swarm of mysterious creatures that they had been seeking for all along. On the other hand, a more sinister thought started to enter my head. What if they were the ones who were being pursued? Maria gave Ronnie direction while keeping eye contact with the shadows through the binoculars she was using. She spotted movement, a shape that moved away from her only a few inches behind a tree and then vanished once more. During the time that the mystery animals looked to be playing a game of cat and mouse, her gaze darted from one shadow to the next. As Ronnie's voice crackled over the radio, he cautioned Maria to keep her composure and warned her that panic can cause her to act in an inconsiderate manner. However, as she was overcome with panic, his words appeared to be a long distance off. This feeling of impending peril was heightened by every sound and shadow that were present. As she approached cautiously and with measured feet, her senses were heightened to every aspect of the forest that was all about her. It was directly in front of her that she heard another sound that was louder and more intentional, and she stopped short to check if Ronnie was there. Once more, he yelled out from the opposite side of the lake, but he was still standing there. When it became clear that whatever was out there, getting closer, was not Ronnie, the realization came. She began to move away from the situation, taking slow, cautious movements. But the strange sounds continued, serving as a subtle reminder that she was not at all alone. As the darkness got deeper, the team from Expedition Bigfoot was presented with a reality that was immediately apparent. They were no longer alone in this forest. It was only a matter of time before the unknown, which had been the one to discover them first, presented themselves to the public. Would they be dealing with a problem that was beyond their ability to manage, or were they going to make a wonderful discovery,